Ever felt like you're just caught in this whirlwind of information?
Yeah.
Constantly bombarded by news, opinions. It makes it hard to figure out what's what,
Oh, definitely. Information overload is real.
Or maybe you're wrestling with big decisions in your own life, thinking, should I go all in, or is there a way to step back a bit, find some peace?
That tension between action and maybe stillness. Yeah.
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into two areas that seem separate but are, I think, profoundly connected.
Right. We're looking at the whole landscape of mass communication that shapes our world.
And then we're jumping into the ancient wisdom of Karma Yoga from the Bhagavad Gita.
Exactly. Our sources cover everything from detailed breakdowns of mass communication, its history, its impact, to philosophical analyses of the Gita, especially Chapter 5 on Karma Yoga.
So our mission today is to unpack how communication shapes our external world, our thoughts, choices, lifestyle.
And then journey back to this ancient philosophy that gives us a blueprint, really, for how to act in that world, how to find inner peace, purpose amidst all the chaos.
You'll hopefully find some surprising connections, maybe some practical tools for your own life. How to be a smarter consumer of media and maybe a more intentional doer.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, so let's start with the basics, but maybe go a bit deeper quickly. Communication. What are we really talking about? Is it just talking?
Well, no, it's much more fundamental. One source puts it beautifully. Sanchar Jivan Kinishaniai. Communication is a sign of life.
A sign of life, wow.
Yeah, think about it. A baby crying for its mother, that's communication. Even tiny organisms signal each other. The root word char means to move.
Ah, like reaching from one point to another.
Exactly. It's the exchange of information, ideas, emotions. The scholar Wilbur Stram called it sharing experiences.
Sharing experiences, I like that. So it's a process, right? What are the key parts?
It is definitely a process. It starts with a source, someone with an idea, they encode it.
Meaning, put it into words or pictures.
Right, translate it into a code. Then the message itself travels through a medium or channel, sound waves, print, the internet.
Good.
The receiver then has to decode it, figure out the meaning. And then, crucially, there's feedback.
The reaction.
Exactly, positive, negative, whatever. It tells the source how the message landed. And all along the way, there can be noise.
Noise, like actual noise.
Could be physical noise, yeah, like a bad phone line. But also mental noise, prejudice, distraction, anything that stops the message getting through clearly.
Okay, that basic model makes sense. But our sources talk about different types of communication. What are some important ones?
Oh yeah, it's diverse. You have symbolic communication, like traffic lights,
Yeah.
right? Or gestures.
Nonverbal stuff.
Exactly. Nonverbal often says more than words,
Yeah.
Joy, fear. It comes across strongly.
And what about when you're just thinking to yourself, that internal chatter?
That counts too. It's interpersonal communication. Sender and receiver are the same person. It's where it all begins, really. We think, then we communicate outwards.
Makes sense. And then talking to someone else.
That's interpersonal. Face-to-face, maybe a phone call. Feedback is immediate. Super important for relationships, daily life. Job interviews test this, right?
Definitely. And groups.
Group communication, like a classroom, a meeting, usually for solving problems, making decisions together.
Okay. But the big one you mentioned, the focus for today.
Is mass communication. That's where the scale just explodes.
Right. So what's the big difference with mass communication? What makes it unique?
Scale and technology, basically. Mass communication uses a technical or mechanical medium print, radio, TV, internet to send a message to a huge scattered audience. It multiplies the message.
So one source talking to potentially millions.
Exactly. And that changes things. Feedback isn't instant, like in a conversation. It's delayed, indirect. The audience is massive and diverse. All sorts of people receiving the same thing.
Rich, poor, young, old.
Yeah. The messages are public. There's no personal relationship between, say, the news anchor and you. You know them by their role.
Okay. And it needs organization.
Yes, a formal organization, a newspaper publisher, a TV network. And crucially, it involves gatekeepers.
Gatekeepers. Who are they? What do they do?
They're the ones who control the flow of information. Editors, producers, maybe even algorithms now. They decide what gets published or broadcast.
Wow, that's a lot of responsibility.
Supposedly, yes. They're meant to uphold public interest, ethics, decide what's news.
So this whole massive system, what does it actually do for us? What are its main functions?
It does a lot. Primarily, it informs us. tells us what's happening in the world.
News, basically.
News, yeah. But it also educates us, makes us aware of issues. It's a huge source of entertainment, obviously.
Movies, TV shows, music.
Right, and it can set the agenda. By focusing on certain stories, the media tells us what we should be thinking about, talking about. It forces issues onto the public stage.
So it shapes the conversation.
Absolutely. It also acts as a watchdog, keeping an eye on government, on powerful institutions.
Holding power accountable.
That's the ideal. And finally, it's a platform for discussion. Think editorial pages, comment sections, places for different views to be aired.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting for me. India's history with communication isn't just modern, is it? It goes way, way back.
Oh, absolutely. The sources trace the roots back to mythology, actually.
Mythology? Like who?
Like Devishi Narad. He's often seen as India's first sort of cosmic newsreader, traveling between worlds, sharing information with his musical instrument.
A celestial journalist. That's brilliant. And in the Mahabharata.
Yes. The story of Sanjaya narrating the whole Kurukshetra war to the blind king Dhritarashtra and Gandhari in real time, that suggests a very sophisticated communication system, almost like remote viewing.
Incredible. And historical.
Emperors like Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka, they used stone inscriptions for permanent messages, but also things like perishable inks for urgent news. They even had official record keepers.
So there was this official channel, but what about everyday people? Were there folk traditions?
Definitely. And these ran parallel to the courts. We see evidence way back in the Bhimbetka cave paintings.
Prehistoric communication.
Exactly. And later, this evolved into incredibly rich folk traditions. Puppetry, storytelling, Kathawachan, various regional drama forms like Ball, Tamasha, Notanki, Yakshagan. Loads of them.
And these weren't just entertainment.
No, not at all. These artists traveled, they conveyed social messages, political commentary sometimes, shaped public opinion. They were vital communication networks.
Okay, so fast forward. Modern media structures come in, mostly from the West, right? But they land in this rich Indian soil.
That's a great way to put it. The framework might be Western, but the content, the character, how people engaged with it,
Yeah.
that became distinctly Indian.
Let's trace that. Print media first.
Yeah.
The newspapers.
Right. Print newspapers, magazines, often seen as the strongest link because the words are permanent, recorded. Early on, journalism basically just meant print journalism.
Collecting news, editing, printing.
Exactly. India's first newspaper was Hickey's Bengal Gazette in Calcutta, 1780.
Calcutta seems to have been the hub early on.
It was. The first Hindi weekly, Udant Mortand, also started there in 1826.
And print journalism was important for independence.
Hugely important, a major tool for the freedom struggle. But the sources note that after independence there was a shift. It became much more of a business.
Less mission-driven, more commercial.
That's the observation, yes. Then came radio.
Ah, radio. A game changer, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Marconi's invention, 1895. In India, the Times of India actually did some music broadcasts way back in 1921.
Wow, that early.
Yeah. But All India Radio was formally set up in 1936. By independence, there were 9 stations. Today, Akashvani reaches almost everyone, 96% of the population, broadcasting in tons of languages and dialects.
Incredible reach. And FM came later.
FM started in 93, opened the door for private players, though they still can't broadcast news, interestingly.
Gandhi called radio an amazing power. Why was it so impactful here?
It's accessibility, mainly. It gets into remote villages where newspapers might not reach. It bypasses literacy issues. And it's cheap. Very democratic in that sense. Plus, there's an intimacy to the audio medium.
Right. Then TV arrives, adding pictures to the sound.
Television, combining words, sound, visuals, makes information feel very credible, very immediate.
How did it start in India?
Actually, as an educational project with UNESCO in 1959. Formal service, Doordarshan, began in 65. It was part of All India Radio initially, then separated in 76.
And Indira Gandhi saw its potential.
She really did. She wanted to expand its network for social change, national unity, promoting science, family welfare, big goals.
Did it achieve that?
It definitely served informational, educational, and entertainment needs. But because it was government controlled for so long, the sources say it lacked impartiality as a news source, even though it was hugely popular for entertainment.
And then the Gulf War in 91, you mentioned that was a turning point.
A massive turning point. Suddenly, people saw 247 uncensored news from channels like CNN, BBC. It changed expectations completely.
Open the floodgates.
Pretty much. Indian private channels mushroomed ZTV, Star TV, the news channels like Z News, Aaj Tak. It brought a new professionalism, a dynamism.
But maybe some downsides too.
Yeah, the sources talk about a blind race starting then. Sometimes commercial pressures seem to override journalistic ethics.
Yeah.
A tension we still see today.
Okay, what about cinema? Another huge medium, more entertainment-focused, but still influential.
Hugely influential. Thomas Edison gets credit for the early tech in 1883. First film shown in France in 1894.
And in India.
Dadasaheb Phalke's silent film Raja Harishchandra in 1913. That's seen as the beginning. Then the first talkie, Alamara, in 1931.
What happened after independence?
Indian cinema really started exploring social realities. Filmmakers like Prithviraj Kapoor, Guru Dutt, alongside the big commercial Hindi film industry developing.
And there was parallel cinema too, right? A different stream.
Yes, sparked by Satyajit Ray's Pathar Panchali in the 50s. It really became a movement in the late 60s, 70s. People like Shyam Benegal.
What was their goal?
To raise social consciousness, tackle real-life issues, offer an alternative to the mainstream formulas.
It lasts.
It had a powerful run, but the sources suggest by the 80s, commercial pressures, market forces, it led to a decline. Formula films prioritizing profit took over again.
But India still makes a ton of films.
The most in the world.
Yeah.
Around 800 a year. And regional cinema is incredibly vibrant too.
And finally, the internet. The newest kid on the block, but maybe the most powerful.
It's definitely the fastest growing, and its impact is just immense. Its unique appeal is convergence.
Convergence means...
It brings everything together. Print, radio, TV, books, libraries. It's all accessible online.
Right. Plus global reach, incredible speed.
Unmatched speed.
Yeah.
It's interactive. That's a huge shift. You're not just receiving, you can participate, debate, chat, start your own blog.
Yeah.
Become a creator yourself.
It really has made the world a global village, hasn't it? Opened up so much for learning, research.
Absolutely. But, like any powerful tool, it has downsides.
Yeah, like...
Well, the obvious things like inappropriate content spreading easily, potential for misuse, misinformation, echo chambers, big challenges there.
Okay, so we've traced this evolution. Looking at the big picture now, how has all this mass communication really changed our daily lives? It feels inescapable.
It really is. It's become an indispensable part of modern life. It deeply impacts our lifestyle, our routines.
How so?
Well, think about your morning. Do you reach for a newspaper, check your phone for news, listen to the radio? It starts right there for many people.
True. Even choosing what to buy. Ads are everywhere.
Exactly. Our purchasing decisions are visibly influenced, but it goes deeper. Booking travel, paying bills, looking up health information, even spiritual guidance. We turn to media for so much.
So it's not just information, it's woven into the fabric of how we live.
Completely. It's like this product that's entered our homes and subtly, or not so subtly, reshaped our habits, our desires, maybe even our values. It's hard to stop its influence.
Let's focus on the positive impacts first. What good has come from all this?
Oh, undoubtedly. It's simplified life in many ways. Enhanced our capabilities, made us more connected, maybe more active socially.
And for society as a whole.
It's vital for a dynamic, transparent society. Think about exposing corruption, human rights abuses.
Right, the watchdog function.
Exactly.
Right.
The sources mention specific cases in India, like the Tehelka incident or Operation Duryodhan, things exposed through sting operations. It showed media could shake things up even at the highest levels, give voice to the voiceless sometimes.
Okay, but there are negatives too, right? What are the pitfalls we need to watch out for?
Definitely. One big concern is escapism. Cinema, TV, they can create these alluring fictional worlds that feel more real than reality sometimes.
Leading to addiction, maybe avoiding real problems?
Potentially, yes. Seeking easy answers in fantasy. And then there's the accusation that media promotes negative things, violence, obscenity, antisocial behavior.
That's a long-running debate. What about how news is presented? Is it balanced?
That's a critical point. Often, issues that affect powerful groups get loads of attention, while problems facing the wider public or marginalized communities get ignored.
So whose stories get told?
Exactly. The sources point out this has been an issue in India, where powerful interests often find their voices amplified.
Which leads to the question, who owns the media? Does that matter?
It matters hugely. Most media isn't run purely for public interest. It's owned by private companies or individuals aiming for profit.
So commercial interests can clash with public good?
They can. It might lead to distorting facts, suppressing truth that upset advertisers, or just focusing on sensationalism over substance.
And shaping lifestyles.
Yeah.
Consumerism.
Big time. Media significantly contributes to consumer culture, influencing fashion, food, what we aspire to. especially targeting kids and young people, creating needs we didn't know we had.
So, putting this all together, what's the takeaway for us, the audience? How should we approach all this content?
We just can't be passive sponges. We have to be active, critical consumers. We need to think, analyze, question. Understand the potential biases and agendas behind the information we receive. Develop media literacy.
That's a really important point, being critical consumers of external information. But what about our internal world, our actions, our choices? How do we navigate that without getting overwhelmed? This brings us perfectly into the Bhagavad Gita and Karma Yoga.
Yes, a fascinating shift. In the Gita, you have Arjuna facing this huge crisis on the battlefield. His dilemma is basically, should I fight, engage in this terrible action, or should I just renounce everything and withdraw?
A fundamental question. Action or inaction?
Precisely. He asks Krishna directly, which is better, renouncing actions Karma Sannyas or performing actions with devotion, Karma Yoga.
And Krishna's answer
is very clear. He says both paths lead to the ultimate goal, but for most people, Karma Yoga is superior.
Superior? Why? Why not just step away from the world's messiness if you want peace?
Because, Krishna explains, truly abandoning all action is incredibly hard unless your mind is already pure. And how do you purify the mind?
Through action.
Through performing actions, but with the right attitude, with devotion and detachment. A true sannyasi, renunciate, the Gita says, isn't just someone who drops out, but someone who is free from desire and hatred, free from those dualities.
Dualities like pleasure, pain, success, failure.
Exactly, free from being tossed around by them. When you achieve that state, you're easily freed from the grip of Maya.
Maya, that's the illusion, right? The veil that makes us see the world as separate, binding us to outcomes.
That's a good way to think of it. The illusion of separateness and attachment. The truly wise see that sannyas and karma yoga aren't fundamentally different in their goal. Follow either path sincerely, you get the same result, liberation from Maya, seeing them as one is true, seeing.
Okay, so karma yoga is the recommended path for most. What's the absolute core of it? That famous verse comes to mind. Karma nivada karaste.
Ma felishu kadashan. Yes, that's foundational. You have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions.
Focus on the work, not the reward.
But that's the essence. It's key to finding peace, avoiding stress. But there's more. The karma yogi cultivates detachment from doership.
Detachment from doership, meaning you don't see yourself as the one doing the action.
In a sense, yes. You understand that actions happen through the senses, through nature's modes, Guga says. The true self, the soul, is just a witness, untouched, like a lotus leaf on water. The water's there, but the leaf stays dry.
That lotus leaf image is powerful. How does this become spiritual, not just stoic detachment?
Because you perform your actions as an offering to the divine, to God, however you conceive that.
So mundane work becomes worship.
Exactly. That transforms everything. It brings inner joy, makes detachment genuine, because you've surrendered the results to something higher. And another key piece is self-control.
Controlling senses, mind.
Regulating them, yes. Not suppressing desires harshly, but directing that energy towards your duty, towards a higher purpose. Acting consciously, not just reacting impulsively.
And this inner state.
Yeah.
How does it change how you interact with the world, with other people?
It leads to equanimity, a profound sense of inner balance and seeing the divine in everyone.
Equanimity, meaning stable, calm.
Stable, calm, and seeing beyond appearances. The Gita says a karma yogi sees a learned Brahmin, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and even an outcast with an equal eye.
Wow, that's radical equality.
It is. You remain steady whether things are pleasant or painful, whether you succeed or fail. You're not dependent on external circumstances for your peace. That's being sthitaprajna, one whose intellect is firm, steady in the divine.
Not swayed by good news or bad news.
Exactly. Finding that inner light, that inner steadiness, regardless of the outer world. True freedom from reactivity.
You mentioned the concept of three doers earlier. How does understanding that help with detaching from results? Can you unpack that?
It's a subtle but really helpful idea from the commentaries. Think of it this way. Your individual soul, your jiva, has the desire. It initiates the impulse for action.
Right, I want something to happen.
Then, the divine, or God, is the ultimate sanctioner, the one who fulfills or allows that desire to manifest, but not directly.
How?
Through the mechanisms of prakriti, or material nature, with its three modes or gunas. Nature is the actual force carrying out the action.
So I desire, God sanctions, nature executes.
Pretty much. So while you're responsible for your desire, your intention, you're not the sole direct doer of the actions unfolding and result. nature plays a huge part.
Ah, I see. So you can't take full credit or full blame for the outcome.
Exactly. Understanding this interplay helps you detach. You do your part, the desiring, the effort, but you dedicate the results to the divine, recognizing the bigger forces at play. That's how you remain untainted by the karmic reactions like that lotus leaf. It takes the ego out of the equation.
Okay, this is profound. But how practical is it? How does this ancient wisdom apply to us today, navigating modern life, especially for the learner trying to make sense of it all?
It's incredibly practical. Take work-life balance and stress. If you focus on the process of your work, doing it well, rather than constantly worrying about the outcome, the promotion, the praise, the profit, a lot of anxiety just dissolves.
Focus on the doing, not the getting.
Right. And that naturally fosters ethical behavior. If your goal isn't personal gain at any cost, but simply doing your duty well, integrity follows. Service, dedication, they become natural.
So it's not just about feeling good, it actually makes you better at what you do.
Absolutely. Remember that other Gita verse, yoga, karma Sannyas. Skill and action is yoga.
So being skillful, concentrated, excellent in your work is part of the practice.
Yes. It inspires putting your whole self, mind, intellect, soul into what you do. Think how useful that is for leaders, doctors, teachers, anyone really. It also promotes selfless service, working for the welfare of others, which builds social harmony.
What about for young people facing so many pressures today?
It's hugely relevant. It encourages them to live with purpose, face challenges with courage, become self-reliant based on their effort and inner strength, not just external validation or results.
And for leadership, running a team, an organization.
It promotes egoless, impartial leadership, making decisions based on duty and fairness, not personal likes or dislikes. That leads to transparency, justice. It even fosters a global perspective, seeing humanity as one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
How does it directly impact mental health in our often stressful world?
By shifting focus from outcome to duty, it can dramatically reduce stress, anxiety, depression. It builds inner balance, self-confidence that isn't dependent on constant success.
And in business, are there lessons there?
Definitely. The commentaries draw clear lessons. Don't make big decisions when you're angry or agitated. Be adaptable. Change is constant. Accept it. Build emotional intelligence. Understand success and failure are temporary waves. And approach life like a warrior on a battlefield. Fight your battles honestly, skillfully, with full effort, but always with that detached, duty-focused mindset.
Wow. We've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah.
From the complex web of mass communication, how it shapes our world, informs us, but also potentially overwhelms or misleads us.
Right, how it bombards us constantly.
To this incredibly deep yet practical philosophy of Karma Yoga from the Gita, finding that calm center through action.
Exactly. We saw how media evolved from ancient storytellers right up to the internet, changing our lives and demanding we become critical thinkers about the information we consume.
And then we explored Karma Yoga as this internal compass, how to act with total dedication, skill, but without getting tangled up in the results, finding stability no matter what's happening outside.
It's like, just as media has gatekeepers filtering information, Karma Yoga gives us principles to filter our own actions and reactions, making them conscious, purposeful.
Both really highlight conscious engagement, don't they? With media being an active, critical participant, with Karma Yoga being a dedicated yet detached doer.
Beautifully put.
So the final thought for you, our listener. In this world overflowing with information, demanding constant action and reaction, how can you truly bring that spirit of Karma Yoga into your life?
How can you pour yourself into your work, your duties, with complete skill and dedication, yet remain internally untouched by the inevitable ups and downs, the successes and failures, like that lotus leaf on the water?
How can you use this ancient wisdom to navigate your daily life, your interactions, your work, even how you engage with the news, finding both inner peace and making a meaningful impact? Something to think about.